I know what you're thinking. Ethan, what's going on? What is this? 2 parts of a podcast on 2 separate podcasts? What's going on, Ethan? Freaking out in your car, whatever you're listening to right now. Ethan has jumped the gun. He's gone above and beyond. Him and Rex have gone absolutely batshit crazy. This is not something a podcast has done before that I know of. Welcome to part 2 of episode 6 of Ethan Hahn Plus One podcast, plus King's Tales, plus Joy Rios. She doesn't have a podcast, but you know, she's she's here to tune in. Let's cue the intro. Boom. There's the intro for you right there. Do you have an intro for yours, Rex? Do you have a... Well, I can't recall. No, you don't have an intro.
I don't. Well, yeah. I literally just go and say, "What's good, kings and queens from all around the world?"
Pick some non-copyright music. That's exactly what I did. I even asked the YouTube channel. I was like, "Hey, can I do this?" He's like, "Yeah, just credit us." And I credit them in the description. So we have an intro. I got to film that too. I got to film a visual for that. But welcome to part 2 of this series that we're doing. This is Endgame. So we just did Infinity War.
Oh, bro.
So here's Endgame now. Yeah. Are you a Marvel person? Did you?
No.
Oh my goodness gracious.
All right, perfect.
Are you guys ever like...
You better not say no.
Oh, no. Are you ever just in your room? Do you guys ever, work or anywhere or even right now?
Yeah.
Do you ever just like, okay, you're looking at me, I'm looking at you. What is this? Humans, life.
You know.
Let's get into that. So, and then it's going to make its way. This is I love these. I don't know if you guys have these talks with people. I have these talks with people at work a lot. These crazy what are we doing here questions. I mean, I know a lot of people can get religious and stuff like that,
no,
you know,
sure,
like God and stuff, sure. But what is the bigger picture?
Bro,
you know?
I'm really glad that you asked this question because 2 weeks ago during y'all worked in retail before.
Yes.
Working retail during Christmas is the worst thing you can do to yourself.
I just quit my...
She just quit.
my last retail job Wednesday. It was amazing.
Woo.
It's such a huge relief off your shoulders, but I don't know what it is about working in retail that just makes you question your own mortality because
Come a little closer to the mic, actually. And
hello?
Actually, no, hang on. Adjust the mic, too, just a tad bit. Like, try to tilt it. Yeah, you see how it's set up? Okay. And then just... Not even a lot, just a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, sweet. So we were talking about mortality. You know, there's the whole question your mortality and having an existential crisis.
Yes.
I was literally at work. It was 2.5 weeks ago, and I was putting stuff from the back room onto the floor, and it just hit me. I was like, bro, I'm gonna die one day. Like, what's gonna happen after that? And like, my anxiety spiked through the roof, and I'm just like,
see,
like
it just kicks in. Those thoughts.
Like you know how like sometimes the camera will pan out of Raven when she's about to have her vision. I literally, I question my life, and I'm just like, what's the point of all this? Like, I'm just gonna die one day.
Money, you know, like money. What is this thing?
It's a piece of paper.
It's a piece of paper. We're at these places because we need this piece of paper that has value to it. What the hell? And again, what happens when we pass? Now, all of us believe here, hey, we're all gonna go to heaven. Hopefully, we're all gonna. Hopefully, we're all gonna make it to heaven. But let's count other possibilities.
Yeah, no.
What have you guys thought about besides heaven? What happens when?
Do you guys remember Jared?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Jewish kid.
I remember one day me and him were playing Fallout at his house, and this really like scared the crap out of me. Like, he was like, "Yeah, dude. Like, you know, we always talk about like going to like the higher plane or going to heaven. Like, he's like, you die, you get put in the dirt, and that's it. Like, and I was like." Why?
Yeah.
Why did you have to say that? Because I'm just like, yo, like it's something that I don't want to think about, but like it's something that we all inevitably have to face one day, and they're just like,
yeah. Do you sit on these topics, Joy? Do these simmer in your head?
Not to the extent with you guys.
What do you think about that?
What
do you think about?
Mine is like the rapture coming.
Okay.
All the time. Like I would literally
I think about that sometimes
literally
too.
be
Totally.
like laying in bed listening to music. Like I'll have Bad Bunny on and then about to go to sleep and I'm like, what if it happens and I'm here listening to Bad Bunny? And then it makes me, I can't even enjoy the song anymore because I'm like, oh my gosh, now I'm thinking about this.
Jesus
I'm
is
just gonna
open your
I'm just
bedroom
gonna
door,
literally
like,
I'm just literally gonna turn this off and pray and then go to sleep and just try to go
Yeah.
to sleep peacefully. But like
praying will really put you at peace.
I've never had a like thinking about my death when I'm working in retail. The one thing like I've never like okay.
So,
the one time
that's actually so intense.
you just made, like I'm gonna die.
Target is not gonna sponsor
Target
this.
just literally brings out the worst in you, and just don't work there.
Okay, so
Okay.
I don't know if you guys. I don't know if it was last. No, it wasn't last year. It was like a year or two ago.
Okay.
We had. I don't know if you heard of the mall shooting. Do you? Okay, so it was like
At Christiana.
yeah, Christiana.
I heard
Okay,
about something
So
like that,
okay, at Target, one of the displays fell, and people thought they were gunshots. And when I
Oh,
tell you, like, people
jeez.
were freaking out. Like, people were jumping through like counters and stuff to try to hide, going into the back rooms of stores because everyone thought
What was
like
the,
it
how
was
big was the
everywhere.
fucking display?
I don't even know. All I know is I'm at Cabela's. I'm in
Yeah.
like the warehouse talking to someone.
Ooh, nice.
Talking to someone, and this guy, he's so casual about this. He starts walking up, and he's like, "Hey, so like one of the managers said to like lock the garage doors because there's a shooter at the mall," and I'm like. Because he said it so casually. I'm like,
He was like, you know what? I just came to terms that I'm gonna die today.
I was like, I don't know what to call him. I was like, Christian. I'm gonna
Yeah,
call him
sure,
Christian. I was
sure.
like, Christian, just get back to work. Like,
Yeah.
why are you like?
Yeah.
That's not funny. Like, just get back to work.
Oh, you
He's
thought
like,
because you thought.
I thought he was joking,
Yeah,
and I'm like, I thought
yeah.
he was just doing it because he saw us talking and was like trying to get into
What a
the
way to
conversation.
deliver it, though.
I know.
Hey, there's a-
he didn't run or whatever, and I'm like telling him, he's like, no, like they said to lock the doors, and the guy who works in the warehouse, he's like. Laughing because and then all you see is a manager running, lock the doors, and I'm like, oh snap, this is happening.
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
real. And then like I'm staying at the warehouse, like
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
going to the front, like why would I go? And then this was the dumbest thing ever, but they were like, they wanted us first, they moved us to the back of the store. It's for like our safety and like customers are there, and then they grabbed all of the customers and told us to go into a conference room near the front of the store, near the exit. And I'm like thinking like, I'm sitting there and everyone's like panicking, trying to call people. I'm not on my phone or anything. I just texted my mom like, hey, are you at the mall? She said no. I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
good, don't go to the mall. She's like, wow. I'm like, it's busy. I didn't want to freak her out.
Yeah.
And so like I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, we're supposed to calm customers down or whatever, but I'm sitting there thinking like, wow, the shooter can just come in here and kill us all. There's only one entrance and
Yeah.
it's the same exit. But that's the closest I've been to thinking about death.
Thinking about that,
Yeah.
like what's gonna
At work,
afterwards.
at least.
Yeah.
Not at Target or something like that. Yeah.
I do think I'm like, when working in retail, I'm like, is this humanity? Because like people are so stupid.
Oh my
It's like-
God.
People become customers and they're not even human anymore.
When you work, no, like you it kicks in your head like how certain people are. Like it's crazy how different other people are from you, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like fascinating to see that because someone could just have totally be raised differently too. You know, I think it's all about like how they grew up and stuff like that, and just their beliefs and stuff. And you're just like, yeah. You went how the stupidity in people worked at the Cinemark. A prime example of this.
Gosh.
I was working at the Cinemark movie theater during the transition of them getting recliner seats, reserved seating. Well, you know, because before, back in the day, you know, you'd be able to walk into a theater, sit
and
wherever you want, but it wasn't recliners, just sit wherever. So I remember people were not happy about this, but they seem to not understand the process of reserved seating either. It's pretty fucking easy to understand. You push the seat you want. If you don't like it, then sorry, shit's on you. You got to maybe pick another showtime. I'm sitting there. Cranky people would always walk up. And then I would turn the screen for them. Like, all right, well, you can go ahead and pick your seat right here. And then and there'll be like this crankiest white woman Like, she'll look at it and she'll be like disgusted. Like, what's this? And I'll be like, ma'am, so this is our new reserved seating chart. Let me stop you right there. And I'm like, what's going on here?
Straight Karen.
And then she was just like, so can we not sit wherever we want? And I was just like, yeah, so we've upgraded to recliners now, which is they're very comfortable, and we just need everyone to pick their seat moving forward. She was like it was like a math test for her. She was looking at it, she's like, so how does this work? And I was just like, so okay, the front is closest to the screen, and then the back is all the way in the back. That's actually what the fuck I had to say. And then I was like, anything in the green is what you can pick. Majority of it was green at the fucking time because no one was coming.
Right.
I was like, so I told her, I was like, a lot of it's green, so you can really sit wherever, like, pick your seat. Like, you have a lot of choices here. She's like, what if I want to move seats? Well, you can't do that. But we tell them this too.
Okay.
If it's like 20 minutes into the movie, you see no one sitting in that seat, and you're like, hey, I want to move there. Fucking do it. Fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you
can't kick somebody else out of their seat.
You can't. Yeah, don't kick someone else out of their fucking seat. And she was just like, so if I pick the seat, I can't sit wherever I want. No, you have to sit in that seat. And she was like, oh, what about my daughter? And she was like, can she just sit on my like lap? Do I have to pay her for a ticket or anything like that? I was like, ma'am, like, your daughter's pretty old. Like, she'll have to reserve a seat with her too. Like, I don't understand the fucking issue here. I didn't say fucking, but in my head, I'm just like, can you imagine myself? I was like, and I just don't understand. And so she's an occasion. And then another occasion is like, some people will be straight up like, this old guy came up and then I was showing the reserved seating. And then he'd be like, no.
Huh?
I'd be like,
what do you mean no?
I'd be like, here you go, sir. And he's like, oh, no. And as he's saying no, he's like walking backwards.
Did he leave?
So here's the best part. Here's the best part about it. And this is why I remember this one specifically. He was like halfway out the door and he yelled to me. He was like, you just lost a customer. And here I am, like I give a fuck.
I love it when they say that. Like, you just lost a customer.
I get paid by the hour, bro.
It's like, it's not like...
Because I'm the owner of Cinemark Theaters, and I care about your money. I don't give a shit. I prefer you not to come in, bitch.
Oh my gosh.
But here's the best part. He came back with his wife, and then... She was like 2 tickets, and he was standing in the lobby because he knew he was like embarrassed. But his wife ended up, because I saw him, he walked in with her, and then she ended up getting 2 tickets for the movie they wanted to see. Because I imagine he went back to his car and was like, oh, it's reserved seating now, and she was probably like, who cares? Like, who cares?
Oh
and then she set that up from there. But just dumb people.
There was this one lady, and she like you said, bougie or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like the first year they were, it was like the first year they were doing like making us wrap gifts for Christmas there. Yeah. So they had like a gift wrapping station, and the lady that was there, she wasn't there. So they were like, Joy, can you go over and wrap gifts? I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go back there, and she's like picky about the wrapping paper. It's Cabela's wrapping paper. Like, they have fish and trees, and like some of them say Bass Pro Shops.
Camo.
Like, they're so ugly. And I'm like, oh, whatever. She's like, is that all you have? Is that all you have? And I'm like,
bitch, you came to Cabela's.
Like,
you came to Cabela's.
I'm like, yeah, this is all we have. She's like, they're not cute. And I'm like, lady, I didn't pick them out. Yeah. I don't wrap my gifts here because of this reason.
It's crazy.
And then she's like, so like her husband's like, oh, just pick that one or whatever. So I'm wrapping them, and she's like looking at me like, oh, don't fold it like that. Or can you know? I'm like, oh my gosh, this lady. So I'm like trying to hurry up, and she's talking to her husband, and she was like, oh, our house is like twice the size of this store. And I'm thinking about, and she's like, yeah, we have like 70 Christmas trees throughout the house. And I'm like, why are you getting your gifts wrapped at Cabela's then? Yeah. If you have the money to have 70 trees in your house, why are you getting why are you
what a
getting
number?
Yeah, like why are you getting
70
your gifts wrapped at Cabela's by like someone who makes like $10 an hour? Yeah, like that doesn't make sense. Yeah. And I'm just like, ugh. Like, and the stuff they bought was not, it just wasn't expensive. Like, I would say if they bought like really expensive stuff from Cabela's or whatever, but they were getting like the cheap, like, you know, the Go Fish toys where you put the little hook in the thing. It's like $15. And I'm like, ugh, I hate people. I hate people.
Was that your first job, Cabela's?
No, I worked at a
daycare.
preschool. The
The
daycare.
daycare.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really like that job.
What was your worst experience at the daycare? You would say. What comes to mind?
Oh,
What comes to mind?
I
Okay,
had
if you're
this-
if you're
it's
comfortable.
really,
Yeah,
it's really
yeah,
hit
yeah.
or miss with kids.
Yeah. So yeah,
Worst experience.
I loved working with them. Like one day, one of the parents bought I think it's a Mexican dessert, like with the Jello. I don't know if you've seen them. They're like different colored Jellos, and then like I'll show you a picture of it.
Yeah.
And I've never had it before, but one of the moms brought it over.
What's it called? Oh, wow.
Hello.
Oh my god.
Please.
Jello and hello. Get it, guys? Oh man, that one's going in the book.
Dessert.
Writing that one down.
Oh my god.
It's called hello.
Yeah, it's like a mosaic. It's called mosaic gelatin, but it looks like
So
It looks
a
like
parent,
this.
a parent. Okay, I've seen
Okay.
that before. A parent
so
brought
a
that in.
parent. Yeah, a parent.
It's like
brought-
white gelatin. Everyone listening to audio,
Yeah.
it's like a white gelatin with
You wanna put
with
the
things
thing
on it.
the
Yeah,
thing?
but yeah, there you go.
Well, they're not gonna see it. But so my mom bought like 2 of them in. So they were like the owner was like, you know what, just give 1 to each of the bigger classrooms, and I had like the 4-year-olds. So I was like, you know, guys, if you're good, you guys can have like a treat or whatever. So they were pretty good throughout the day. So I start cutting it up, and they're like, they love it. They thought it was amazing. But this one kid, he just kept eating and eating so much.
Shit.
And
Oh,
I was
no.
just like, you know what? He doesn't eat a lot. So I was like, it's good that he's eating.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna, let him go. So we're like,
Oh,
20 minutes
God.
later, we're like, they're coloring and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, Miss Joy, can you come here? And
Oh,
I'm
shit.
like, I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And I get on my knees and I'm like, what's wrong?
What's that smell?
And
Or
he was
something.
like, I don't feel so good. And I'm like, are you? Cause he's like looked kind of pale, so I thought he
Oh,
was gonna pass
Jesus.
out. I'm like, so I
Yeah.
go like this. I'm like, are you okay? And he immediately goes,
Oh.
and my hands are cupped
Oh.
because I was getting ready to like pick him up.
That was
I was gonna take him to the bathroom,
Fuck.
but all over my hands, and I'm like, I literally just,
That's where you strangle him with his own vomit.
I did this. I literally did this, and I'm like, I couldn't stop looking at it because
Yeah.
I'm like, this is
in
the
shock.
worst.
In shock.
Like,
Yeah.
is this really on my hands right now?
Yeah.
And then I look up, and he's just like, I'm sorry, Miss Joy. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. So like,
Did it look like the white gelatin too? Did it like look at the
it
part?
was really white and it had like specks of colors. It was really gross. It was
Oh,
really like
fuck.
just thinking about it.
Oh.
But
Ugh.
I go and I walk to like the little sink that we had, and I
Yeah.
start washing my hands, and everyone's like, "Ew, you threw up on Miss Joy," and I'm like, "Guys, it was
Assholes.
an accident." Yeah, I'm like,
That's
guys.
bullying. That's the bullying right
It was
there.
like bullying
Yep.
him.
There's
I'm
the
like,
bullying. Yep.
guys, no, stop. Like, it was an accident. Like, it's
Yeah.
okay. Look, I'm washing my hands. But, like, I feel like that's something I would never forget. That and the same kid, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was before or after.
Yeah.
I'm coloring. I'm like, we're coloring together. And I'm, like, watching the kids. But he always sat with me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, he starts rubbing my hand. And he's like, Miss Joy, you're pretty. But you could be prettier. A 4-year-old told me that, and I was like,
Oh shit. Do you think daycares kind of have put this mentality in little kids, like they can do whatever they want
it
more?
depends on their parents.
Because my parents have this theory, mainly because I'm an only child. They never put me in daycare. They always took care of me. They actually made sure to not put me in daycare.
Okay.
They have this weird theory where it's like they think I came out, because I was never a bratty kid even when I was a kid. Like I was pretty like when my cousins would fight, I'd like in the home videos you see my cousins fighting, I'm like in the back like just like, eating some goldfish and
Minding your business.
and I would literally try to be the ones to even stop fight, like at fucking 4 years old, 3-4 years old, I'd be the one trying to like stop things.
Yeah.
And then all my cousins are like always fighting, crying in home videos. And I think my parents' theory is like, well, we think it's because we didn't put you through daycare and you weren't exposed to other kids acting up.
Yeah.
And you were just kind of like with us the whole time, just kind of like us raising you. Now,
think-
what do you think?
I think it's the parenting.
It's just the
At
parenting?
At least from I worked there for
You have first-hand
3
experience.
years.
Were you guys in daycares?
I was.
You were?
Yeah,
what about
I
you?
was.
Were you in a daycare?
That's a great question.
Were you guys bratty kids?
Oh,
I
God,
wasn't.
no.
I was
Okay.
a little stuck up.
See, that's good to know.
But I was
See,
a little stuck up.
little stuck up.
My mom, she said it was kind
stuck
of
up
her
how
fault.
though?
Okay,
How-
so I was.
How do you know?
I
Tell
started,
a little
I
kid
s-
stuck up.
I started talking when I was 1.
Oh wow.
And
What
so-
the fuck?
Yeah. So my my
Jesus. Hey. Hey, mom.
mom. Well, it was like she would say like in stories one occasion my mom was like she was 24 when she had me, and like I was the first like girl in the whole family, and I was like the first like I guess like grandchild or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was spoiled, and they my mom always dressed me up like matching stuff, and like I would always have a purse. And like if you look at all my baby pictures, I actually have one. I think I have one on my phone where I'm literally holding a purse and have like sunglasses on, and I'm like pose like this, and I
Yeah.
always had like a model kind of pose, which sucks
Oh,
because
that's
I'm
so
not
funny.
like that anymore.
Yeah.
But my mom told me there was this one time. That's after that she just was like, I'm not doing this anymore, because we were at the mall and I had like these Hello Kitty sunglasses, and I had like a little purse, and this lady comes up to me. And you know I'm cute. I'm a 1-year-old with sunglasses.
That's
and
adorable.
a purse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
walking
so she
around by yourself.
and she comes up to me and she was like, you know, says hi to my mom, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so adorable. I love your glasses." And she went to touch my glasses, and my mom says that I pulled back and was like, "Don't touch me." And my mom.
Oh my
was
god! At one?
At one, and my mom was like,
What the fuck?
And my mom
That's
was
like some
like,
super baby.
my mom was like, yeah. After that, I was like, oh heck no. And she did tell me like.
Yeah.
From 1 to 2, she would have to yell at me a lot because I would think I was an adult. When
I was
younger.
I was a big fucking pussy when I was little because I had like, were you guys sensitive? Would you say you were really sensitive when you were little?
I was really shy and I cried a lot.
Yeah.
When I got older, I did.
I
You did.
a
yeah.
memory I have is I was at Boscov's and my mom. There was actually a lot of occasions there was stuff like this happening. I was in a Boscov's and then my mom went. Were you guys scared of escalators?
Elevators.
Elevators?
Elevators.
Bridges
Oh
for
my
me.
gosh.
Bridges for you. Is that still a thing or no?
Oh, no. I grew out
don't
of
like
it.
It's like
elevators.
whatever.
I don't like bridges either.
Escalators, for some reason, it looked like a mouth was like sucking up the stairs. I didn't like that when I was
okay.
little. And I remember at Boscov's, my mom went down the escalators, and I always asked her to hold my hand, like hold my fucking hand before we go down this hell. All right.
Oh my
And I remember
God.
she I think she was like in a bad mood. She forgot about me. And I like turned around and I saw her going down. She's like, "Come here." And I was like, and I'm like waddling over, and then I see her. She's like halfway down the escalator, and I'm like, and I started bawling out, crying because I was like, I'm left alone
You
up
had
here.
a whole panic attack.
One of
bro.
the Bosco workers came over and like held my hand, like, "Oh, we'll wait for her to come back up." And my mom was like, "What's wrong with you?"
She's like, calm down.
Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
You're
And
embarrassing
she
me.
she had to take the escalators back up.
Oh my gosh.
And then to hold my fucking hand, because thank you. And I was like, all the time, I would be so sensitive about like, I loved my parents, you know, because it was like, I wasn't big on hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
When you guys were little, was going out with friends like a thing, or were you always with your parents like 24/7 mostly?
I was always with my mom.
When did you start hanging out with people?
Fifth grade.
Around fifth grade,
Fourth,
right?
fifth grade for me.
It was like around middle school it happened.
Yeah.
But at all times, my parents were like my main like like I was with them all the time. So like it was my connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was another time. This was first grade. I remember my dad dropped me off, and he always says goodbye. He always says, "See ya. I'll see you later." For some reason, this one specific morning when he dropped me off, he just like I slammed the door and he drove off, and that got me. You know, I don't know. It was fucking weird. I remember seeing him drive off. I was like, "Where the fuck is
How
my
old were
goodbye?"
you?
First grade.
Oh,
so I don't
okay.
know. I was in first grade. I remember because I remember I walked into class, and it stuck with me. Like, this motherfucker, he didn't say goodbye. Like it really got
that
me.
messes a kid up, bro, because you're so used to routine.
There's a
and
daily
then-
routine. Why the fuck did he not like? Was he mad at me or something? I didn't do anything bad. We didn't have any beef or anything like that. I'm at my desk. I'm not focusing at all.
Oh.
I'm like, yo. I'm like, bruh, like, what's up with dad today? He didn't say bye. I go in the bathroom. When you guys cried, did you ever look in the mirror?
No.
I did this
no.
weird thing whenever I had to cry. I went in the bathroom. I wasn't expecting to cry. I remember looking in the mirror. like you know, when you try to hold it in. fucking do it. And you're just like, no, you're good. And my face got really red. And I'm like, I cannot walk out this bathroom now. Because the bathrooms are in the classroom. I cannot walk. I cannot walk out this bathroom looking like I'm a fucking mess. So I remember I gathered myself together. I just told my friends, hey, I pooped. That's why it took so long. And then I made like some flushing noises too. Came back out. I remember my solution to this. When we had lunch, everyone's had lunch. I'm like alone at lunch. I'm like, Dad, fucker, that fucker. And I came up with the craziest shit. I remember I walked up to my teacher. I don't feel good. And she was like, oh, is everything all right? I just feel like I'm about to throw up. And then she did this routine. She like always gave a kid a trash can, the rolly ones. And I walked to the nurse. And then I walked to the, I'm pretending, because I'm not actually sick. I'm just like, I need to get home. Because I need to figure out what's going on here.
I need to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, like, what's going on with Dad? Even though school's going to end in an hour, probably. Like, it was close to the end of the day, too. And then I get to the nurse, and I'm trying to act it up. I'm like, I don't know. It's something I ate. She says, go in the bathroom. See if you got to let anything out. I'm like, shit. Because, like, I'm not actually sick. I'm like, I feel perfectly fine. I'm started flushing and making noises. I'm like, ugh. And like the flushing noises
He's
too.
in first grade. I would have never thought about.
No, literally,
doing this.
like, and then I fucking, because the mission is to get to Dad now, get to Dad, and then I come back out and I'm just like, yeah, I think I need to lay down. And she's like, okay, you want me to call your dad? I'm like, yeah. Yeah. You're
like, I hope he feels bad that I was sick today and he didn't say goodbye.
You were literally an Oscar award-winning actor at the age
and, you know,
of
I didn't even know I wanted to be an actor, you know,
so
at that time. And I remember I was in bed, and then the moment I heard my dad walk into the nurse, I was in the nurse's office for a while just pretending to be sick. I was just like, and then I heard my dad's voice. He's like, hi, I'm here to pick up my son. And I was like, I was like, there you are. And then he's like, you okay? Like he opens the door. He's like, you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Bye. I remember I think because my young self wanted to say bye to him. I was like, bye. And he's like, what? And then he was like, do you want? And then he was confused. He's like, do you just want to go home? I was like, yeah, let's go home. And then I just felt like in my happy place when I got in the car with him. And then I got home, and I remember I literally I went into their bedroom because their bedroom was the only room with a TV.
Yeah.
And I watched Ed, and Eddie. And I remember I just felt I don't know what I won, but I won something. I just felt like, you know what?
Felt accomplished.
I got home and I said bye to this motherfucker. Because he just drove off. It just got me like that too.
He probably said bye and you didn't hear him.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I was just
7-year-old you probably was just
maybe I was just deaf that morning.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But it got me big time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just,
that is so
like
crazy,
that.
dude.
Did you ever have any experiences with your parents where you were really emotional with them or something like that?
Not with my parents. We spent a lot of time with my godbrother and my godmother growing up because my parents were working literally all the time. So I was notorious for crying whenever my mom or my dad would drop me off at my aunt's house.
Yeah.
So one day I remember I was crying and she literally took me to the bathroom. She told me to look in the mirror and she said, just look at yourself. I want you to see what you look like when you're crying. Yo,
damn.
Yo, I'm telling you, bro. Like, can your parents do not play, bro?
Oh my god.
She was like, and once you figure out what it is that you want to do with yourself, you can come out the bathroom. So she closed the door.
How old are you again?
I was 6.
Shit. Jesus. Jesus.
So I cried, and this was a notorious story that told between me and my godbrother. Like, whenever he would see me, it's like,
yeah.
Make sure you don't cry today.
I'm curious. We'll wrap things up here. What made you want to start the podcast? Just to anything specific? Did you listen? You listened to podcasts before?
Yeah, I did. So
yeah,
I didn't really start getting into them until like the end of 2019, beginning of 2020.
Sure.
And at the start, I remember January 2020, I was in one of my classes, and I was like, "Yo, I really don't feel like being in college right now." Like, it really like finally hit me. I'm like, like I'm not enjoying myself. I literally feel like I'm just here just to get this degree, and that's it. And I think that's when I was like, you know what? And then on top of that, I hate working 9-to-5 jobs. Like, it's something about working for someone else and making them money and just getting the bare minimum really grinds my gears. So I was like, there's no way that someone's telling me to go to a 4-year university, accrue all this debt, and then somehow magically get my dream job and pay all of this off. Because I I was talking to people that were alumni that graduated 2-3 years after me, and they were telling me like, yeah, dude, you know, we get this degree, 9 times out of 10 they'll tell you that you're in a profitable field. You get out and you go right back to working in retail, and you have $30, $40, $50,000 in student debt. So I'm like,
That happens to a lot of people too.
what?
Yeah.
So I think that's when it dawned on me. I'm like, yo, like I need to make sure that I'm doing something I enjoy and make it profitable, but not worry too much about the money aspect at that time. So like, you know, at the time, like I had all this like leadership experience. So I was like, you know what? You know, people have heard me talk before and they think that I'm a great facilitator and I like the things that I you know, actually speak on. So they were like, one of my friends suggested like, yo, why don't you start a podcast? I was like, I don't know, you know, I just don't think it would work out for me. So like, you know, you get those doubts in your mind. So I sat on it for like up until the middle of May, and you know, the pandemic took off, and I was just like, you know what, I have all this free time. I'm back home now, so why don't I just, you know, take the initiative and stop, you know, being around the bush with it. So that's when I wrote the mission. I talked to my pastor, and he was like, all right, so that you don't lose sight of your end goal, write down an objective, the target audience, and what you plan to accomplish through this podcast series. He's like, I don't even want you to worry about money or sponsorships or anything. Just worry about getting that first episode out and then go from there.
Yeah.
So literally right before I recorded the first episode, I had cold feet. And I was like, I don't know if this is actually going to work out for me. But then, you know, I recorded the episode, I advertised it, I put it out, and the first episode got, as of yesterday, I checked, 75 views.
Nice.
So I was like, wow. And that really motivated me.
Yeah.
And
it does. You know, when you realize, wow, people are like invested in something I created. It's a good feeling. Yeah,
it's a
for
really,
sure.
really good feeling. So, and then it started to compound from there. And I think what really like has motivated me recently to really keep going is the words of encouragement. Like, you don't realize that your stuff is helping people until like you hear those things. And like, sometimes you don't even like, you're not even in that mind space. Like, oh, I'm doing this to help people. But like, that's like the secondary objective for me. Like, I just want to get out there and put this information out there so that people who are going through the similar things as me are able to understand that they're not in it alone. Yeah. So, you know, a couple of people from high school actually reached out to me, and they were like, yo, like, I've been listening to your podcast series. People that I didn't even interact with, like,
I think James
barely
listens to it.
Yeah.
I think James did. I think, yeah.
James was telling me, Jacob, Sam,
nice,
Laura, like, they were
Wow.
all like reaching out to me and telling me like, yo,
Yeah.
you're doing a really good job with this, and like that motivates me. So I'm like, wow, like this is actually helping people, like especially now, like Donovan said, like some of us are like pent up in a room by ourselves, and we don't have that social support. So sometimes podcasts really just help
Donovan's
us.
the perfect example. Yeah, again, because he's by himself right now. I think just hearing like your voice or my voice, it's helping
People
him a lot.
that he grew up
and not
with,
even not even just with him, but like I'm sure it's working for a lot of other people too. Where it's just like it's just like a casual conversation you're having with a friend, like, or you're just listening, like it feels like they're there,
Right?
And that's all I wanted with my podcast too. You know, and I just kind of feel like, hey, I'll just be in the conversation with us. We talk random shit, just have random people on.
Literally, and 9 times out of 10, when I start recording, like I'll do that first recording. Yeah, I'll listen, I'll play it back. I'm like, what am I talking about? But you have to do that first recording sometimes to really get your thoughts together. Yeah. And then once you're able to articulate yourself more and really just process everything, it just flows. You're almost essentially talking to yourself.
It's just like natural.
Yeah.
The more you do it. Yeah. Because when I first got this equipment, I remember I did a few test runs with my parents in my room, and it's just us talking. And I remember I was just like, is this going to work? And it's a lot. It's a lot on you because you're like, man, it's just like, I'm committing fully to like this nonsense. Will it work? And then you realize people like it because, again, I told you this. Seeing you did a podcast made me want to. I originally started a movie podcast, which is going to get started back up this month. So I'm going to have 2 to take care of. But that one has an official co-host. So me and him go back and forth. He does like fact information for the movies and stuff like that.
Nice.
And that one's purely. It's a little more structured than this one. It's just talk movies and review them.
Like
and stuff
reviews.
Like that.
I like that.
Yeah. But this one, I told myself I wanted a casual one too. So me and him stopped that one because of COVID stuff. We were just like, I didn't have this set up yet. Yeah. So I told, because I was trying to either do my room, but then my parents didn't want people in the house anymore. Yeah. We tried doing it at his house, but the setups didn't look too good. So I was just like, I'm going to take a break real quick and then figure it out. So then I was like, okay, let me start a casual podcast with a new setup, see if it works. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I texted my boy, Michael Ennis. Shout out to Michael. We'll get started on new episodes soon. But, he's excited. Yeah. Because if anything, the setting's more catered to the movie podcast too. Absolutely. You know, too. But yeah, like I wanted to get that started because I thought that was cool. I was just like, podcasts, I wasn't too into them at 1st. Yeah, I was just like,
yeah, me too.
For me, I was just like podcasts, like people talking and stuff like that. But then I listened to David Dobrik's, and then once I saw you did yours, I was just like, that's actually kind of cool. Just like a conversation, like whatever.
Right.
That was pretty fun. And then I did, because my idea of it before was like, when do people listen to this shit? And I was listening to David Dobrik's in the car. I was like, this works.
Yeah.
I was like, if someone could just put me on in a car, or like, maybe that'll just be it right there.
Right.
Long car rides. Or if someone's just home, like freaking Donovan's at home, he's just doing nothing, and put that on. That's why I also like to have the visual one too. Maybe someone can put on a TV, have it running in the background, listen to the conversation. That's it, yeah.
Absolutely.
So now Joy's gonna start hers, and
I don't know about that.
what would you name your podcast? Think of one right now. What do you think?
I don't even
or
know.
your YouTube channel.
Would you?
I would really love a YouTube channel.
You
like,
should
oh
start one. Start one. Just think of something randomly. People would watch that. 100% people would watch that. Yeah.
I don't know.
All you need is a phone. That's how I started my YouTube channel, just on my phone.
I'm just not funny by myself.
You don't
I feel
think
like
so?
I feed off of other people's energies.
Sure.
Yeah, and then like people, and I'm just like by myself. I'm just like, I'm lazy.
That's why I kind of got into vlogging a little bit, because I realize when I'm with certain people, it's like, oh, this is some funny stuff. Because sometimes funny shit happens when you're friends.
Yeah.
All it has to do is get recorded, and then you can make some
You've seen the viral
So
videos,
I started vlogging once I got into the youth group I was in, and then I was just like, oh man, it's like I like to start recording with friends and stuff like that. It'd be fun to do that.
Yeah.
So again, everyone, thank you for tuning into this special. Forgot what I was gonna say. Hang on.
I was like, are you cutting to like?
No,
wait.
Is it
So
our
we
turn?
say,
Hang on,
do
hang
we
on.
say +2?
+2. He says plus, you say 2.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
gotcha.
All right.
See, I would have fucked that up.
So okay. What were you gonna
I was
say?
like +2.
Oh shit. Okay. So all right. Everyone, thank you for tuning in to this special podcast. 2 combo podcasts, King's Tales and Ethan Hunt +1. Hopefully you enjoyed our topics. Hopefully you enjoyed Rex's in-deep conversation with us, our serious questions, and then throwing it over to my unorganized customer service talk, and then, just kind of throwing things out there. Again, hopefully if you guys heard our stories, hopefully you want to start your podcast, because we encourage it. Do your thing. And don't be afraid to do it, because we're doing our thing, making it work. Listen to King's Tales. It's on Spotify and Apple.
Spotify, Anchor, and I'm working on getting on Apple Podcasts.
Okay.
Now
Nice.
that we have a visual, I'm probably just gonna make a YouTube channel and just put the visuals on there too.
Yep. I think it gives people more of a reason to check it out.
actually, yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Yeah, be like, oh, word. Okay, yeah.
I can actually
I think it
physically
helps out.
see the person
It helps
that's talking
out.
now,
It
yeah.
definitely helps out. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, again, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and this has been Ethan Hahn.
Plus,
2.
No, well done. All right, cool.
I'm
Yeah,
so
we
did it.
hungry.
No, okay. So what are we gonna eat?
I don't
What are y'all
know.
craving?